What is going on, Earth 2 novice enthusiasts and everyone in between? I've missed you guys. Have you missed me? Well, I am back with some great news. We're going to be discussing Dubai. Obviously, same old shtick. If you've if you've caught my shows before, you know the deal. I've got a referral for me using your. I've got a raffle for me using your referral code, and you can enter that raffle by signing up at the contact form in the show notes. Not only will you be entered into a raffle for me to use your referral code when I make my purchases, but also we do that weekly land giveaway, and you can enter into both with that one form. Doesn't get any easier than that. So I've already got some comments. All right. We are going to be moving right along. Earth 2, Dubai is probably the most sought after piece of land on the Earth 2 continent. I mean, I'm sure you guys, if you guys have been playing around with Earth 2 for any extensive period of time, you've probably tried to go and buy Dubai or anything in the UAE, and you've been asking, why is it restricted? Among other countries, the UAE entirely has been restricted, even though there have been some purchases. Well, it is going to become unrestricted, and it will be happening this week. There will be a countdown started this week. They haven't said how long the countdown is going to be for. I'm going to imagine it's going to be at least 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. 72 hours seems like it would be a bit extensive, but I believe that countdown will be starting before the weekend comes to a conclusion. I think it should be starting actually at the end of the week. And if it were me, and you guys, if you've seen my other videos, I always try to put myself in the developer or the owner's kind of shoes to figure out how I would plan out releases and developments and things like that. And if it were me, I would try to have Dubai go live or unrestricted or release, whatever you want to call it. I would try to time it so it happens over the weekend. Why? Because I want to make sure that it's as fair as possible so as many people as possible can participate. Now, Dubai has been a piece of property, and I say Dubai, I also mean interchangeably the UAE, but Dubai is really what everybody thinks of. That's something that in the last couple of months, a lot of the comments that I've seen, a lot of questions, whether it's one-on-one or questions during my live streams, they've been related to when's Dubai going to be released? Why is Israel unrestricted? Why can't I purchase land in this area? But the most common one to come up is specifically Dubai and the UAE. So if it were me, I'd want to make sure as many people as possible can participate in this. Doing it over the weekend most often would mean that the majority of people would either have to stay up or get up early in order to participate. Not as many people will be working. And it's obviously going to be hard for you to be, buying a bunch of land when you're working. So in the vein of keeping everything fair, that's what I'm anticipating that they're going to be doing. Again, stay tuned for that coming out this weekend. The countdown will start, and then you'll get an idea as to when you should set your alarm to be in front of your computer and ready to purchase some Dubai. Now, will Dubai be a good investment? I think it'll probably be the best investment that you can make, even with the other countries that are still going to be unrestricted. Like I mentioned before, Israel's still restricted. I don't think that there is any other piece of property that is more heavily anticipated and sought after than the UAE. So even when those other countries are unrestricted, I don't think that they are going to take off in prices. I don't think the price is going to climb as fast and as high as Dubai in the UAE. Are you going to be able to buy into Dubai itself? I don't know. If it goes the way that I think it's going to go, I think there's going to be a mad dash for land. I think the price is going to skyrocket quickly. I think you're going to be lucky to buy in anywhere. I think we're all going to be lucky to even be able to purchase some land without the servers, freezing everything up. And if you've been playing around in Earth 2 and purchasing stuff for a couple of months, you probably remember what it was like before they had the servers to the point where they're at now, where it's actually something that's adequate, where you can actually get on and purchase things. I think it might be a little laggy with all the eyeballs that are going to be jumping on and trying to make these purchases, but hopefully it goes without a hitch. And that's exactly what Sean's saying in the comments. Yeah, I do think it's going to be crazy. Now, Dubai obviously has like more billionaires and millionaires per capita than like any other country in the world. So just like we saw with the US, people in that area tend to buy the land they know. So they're going to be buying their hometowns and everything else. So with all that money that's been sitting on the sideline, probably participating in Earth 2, but they haven't been able to buy their home turf yet. I would imagine that we're going to see a lot of millionaires and billionaires from the UAE buying up their neighborhoods and everything else. I think there's going to be a lot of purchases that are going to be in the hitting the maximum square amount of 750 squares per purchase. I think we're going to see a lot of those. So I think Dubai itself will be bought up very quickly. I think there will be enough time for all of us to jump in, but the sooner you do it, the better, because obviously the better locations you're going to be able to buy, but also the cheaper it's going to be. Now, keep in mind a couple of things. There's many things to consider, but when this launches, when Dubai is released, when the UAE is released, it will be not only the cheapest land on Earth 2, but it will be the only Class 1 land currently released on Earth 2. All the Class 1 land is gone. We've got some Class 2 left. The US has long been, I think it's like, I don't know, Class 6 or 7 now. I don't even know where the US is at. I haven't looked at it in a while. But there's no Class 1 land aside from the land that is still restricted. Now, a lot of you have probably seen, as I mentioned before, some of the Dubai and some of the restricted land was purchased. And I've mentioned this in other videos. Shane and the other guys have warned, don't break the rules. The land was purchased. Not all of it, but a good amount of it was purchased while it was restricted through the exploitation of some bugs and some vulnerabilities in the software. And they basically warned before. They're like, we can't stop you from doing this, but we're going to catch you. We have everything logged. When we have time, we're busy putting out some bigger fires, but when we have time, we're going to get back to you scammers. Now, from what they've expressed, I believe they're inferring that basically anybody who's violated the very clear and distinct terms of Earth 2 will be subject to potentially having their land taken back from them. And I don't know if they're going to pay you back for it. I imagine they'll probably give you like whatever you paid for it. And hopefully you haven't purchased any secondhand land that's going to be part of this seizure, because it's just like buying stolen property. Like the cops are going to come and be like, sorry, you paid for that, but it belongs to somebody else, and we've got to take that and bring it back to them. Well, just to keep things fair, it's going to be something that needs to be up for grabs when all of us can do this mad dash for it. So it sounds like they're going to be repossessing that land. And again, I don't know how they're going to be compensating those people. Hopefully you weren't one of those people. But everything's being tracked. So if you do find some flaw or vulnerability, and there's probably less and less happening as they're finding them, just play nice, play fair, play by the rules, so you can avoid getting in trouble. Again, depending on how much information they've got on you, they could potentially ban you from Earth 2. I don't know if that would be something that they want to do, but they're at least going to take back the illegitimately acquired land. And, it's going to be bad news bears for those individuals, but that's what you get for breaking the rules, right? I like that because it keeps it fair for the rest of us, and it gives us less of an incentive to break the rules when we can find one of these, loopholes that, might be popping up on Reddit or something like that. Stay away from anything that seems scammy. If it seems like a little pump and dumpy, if it seems like you're finding a loophole where you're able to buy something and you're not supposed to, anything that doesn't seem completely above board, don't do it, because as they've mentioned and as they are going to demonstrate, everything is being tracked. And just because they can't stop you doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to circle back and get you later. Now, some other reasons that Dubai is going to be heavily sought after is not only are there a bunch of millionaires and billionaires who are going to want to buy it up, not only is it going to be the cheapest land and Class 1 land and yada, 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 but what makes Dubai so valuable in Earth 1? Oh, yeah, oil, that stuff. Well, a lot of people, including myself, have speculated whether or not oil is going to be one of the resources that will have value or even be in the gameplay in Earth 2. Because initially I was like, why would they have oil? This is going to be so big. We're not going to have roads. I don't see, fossil fuel combustion engines really playing a big part in this, because A, it's, a digital world. Why would we have to do that? And B, we're not going to have roads. So where would we drive them? And, with it being so big, I always assumed that teleportation was going to be, or something that allowed you to transfer yourself or move from place to place without the, regular conventional logistics matters. I figured there would be something, either we could fly or teleport or whatever. Well, they have announced that there are going to be teleportation devices. However, one of the developers during their live stream also mentioned oil as the only example that I can recall as far as the resources. And basically the context in which he was mentioning oil, he was saying, like, if you're buying up land for the resources that are there, there will be a correlation between where resources are located in Earth 1 and where they will be located in Earth 2. And the example that he gave was basically, don't buy the land where there's an oil refinery, because the refineries don't always have oil under them. You got to find the oil fields. And he's basically saying, like, remember, we're getting rid of all the man-made structures. So if you're buying an oil refinery, just because there's oil there today doesn't mean that there's oil under the ground. And where the oil is naturally is going to be what's correlative to where they are going to be distributing these resources. Worst case scenario, though, I believe that all land is going to be producing essence. And by the way, if this is above your head as far as, what are resources, what are the land classes, what are the phases, anything like that, I have videos that go into more depth, so check those out on my channel. Speaking of channel, I want to make sure that you're watching this on Intentional Being. If you're catching this live, you definitely are watching this on Intentional Being, because I only go live with Earth 2 content on Intentional Being. So kudos, good for you. Now, if you're watching this recording, you might want to check, because this might be on my main channel, which is Meal Prep Biz 101. No problem. Go ahead and subscribe to both. Turn the alerts on for both, because I put Earth 2 content up on both of them. However, I only go live on Intentional Being. So if you want to engage with me, like Sean here, Sean's got another comment. Yeah, I think it will be bigger for advertising and foot traffic as well. A lot of people are going to be curious as to what's being built in Earth 2 in Dubai. And I think a big part of this, as Sean mentioned, is going to be the advertising, the foot traffic, where people are in real life. Why? Well, if there's a bunch of people in Manhattan in real life, and they're eventually going to have an app, which they mentioned they are going to have an app that's going to be an AR immersive kind of thing, where I'm downtown Manhattan, or I'm at an airport, or I'm at Dubai and I'm bored, or I'm just curious as to what's there, I'm going to be looking at my Earth 2 app, and I'm going to be looking around to see what's going on and engaging with this virtual world through my device on site. Now, the more people who go to that area, the more likelihood there is to be a person going onto their app when they're bored or doing touristy stuff and looking around. And if they're looking there, that's a great place to put an ad, right? So we've already started to see some of the ads. They've been beta testing the ads. I think it's going to be rolling out more and more. They had a sign-up sheet for ads, and they said that I think they capped it out at 10,000 and it maxed out. So then they had to extend it so they can take more interested. So that's like 10,000 businesses already interested in advertising on Earth 2. Businesses / individuals, or whoever wants to put up an ad on Earth 2. I'm definitely going to be looking into it. I think that's a really interesting thing, just to learn more about it. I've got my own businesses that, it might be applicable. Probably not so much. Like, honestly, I'd be doing it more for the educational purposes rather than really expecting to see an ROI from those ads, at least initially. But who knows? You never know. I don't really have a product that I think would be ideal for this. I guess I do. My consulting and stuff like that might be good. But really, I wouldn't be doing this, first and foremost. If I was doing any kind of an Earth 2 business, especially, there are going to be a ton of Earth 2 businesses. I mean, look at the stuff that's happened in Half-Life and Decentraland. There is going to be a ton of opportunities. There are going to be a ton of opportunities for you to make money within Earth 2. And I've mentioned this in other videos. I think this is going to be huge. I think this is going to be monumental. This is going to be, like, potentially it could be bigger than the internet down the road. If you just reference movies like Ready Player One, Check out Black Mirror. That'll give you an idea as to where this is going to eventually progress. And it is inevitable. Someone will eventually create a virtual world where people basically live their entire lives within this virtual world, making money, spending money, all of the majority of the relationships and everything. And it's only a matter of time until that happens. We're getting closer and closer to it each day. And right now, Earth 2 looks like it's in the position to be the one to do that. Decentraland is going to be like a little baby project compared to what Earth 2 is doing. And Decentraland is already something that's very impressive. You can build houses, you build your own house, you could buy a house from somebody else. So if you're a graphic designer, an architect or something like that, you want to make virtual properties, virtual designs, even NFTs. You can, let's say I'm an architect and I build a house and you buy the house from me. Now you put that on your land. Now you want to decorate your virtual house, your virtual mansion with some art. What are you going to put on the wall? Obviously some NFTs. Cryptocurrency is like naturally perfect for all of this. NFTs, it's all just naturally coming together. And we're seeing all of these technologies converging and compounding on each other to continually not only provide access for each other through each other, but also solidify the value and the use case for all of these different applications. The way they're going to be coming together is really something that, again, I've gone over this, I've beaten this horse to death in other videos, so I won't go into too much now. I'm doing well. Long time no see. I've been trying to get some stuff uploaded today. I was recording videos and I've been having issues with the recording software. And then I finally got that going. I got a new camera and then I was having issues with the editing software. So I've decided I'm just going to scrap all those videos and probably go live a bunch of times to discuss all the stuff that I want to discuss. And let's see what else we got. That's all we got right now. But I'm caught up on the questions and comments. That's all I've got for you guys now. Again, make sure you're using that contact form below, filling that out, enter in. Have you heard about land class 5? I haven't heard about 5, anything special about it. I would imagine that it's just less valuable than 4, which is less valuable than 3. And for those of you who are new, again, I go into the land classes and what they mean. There's a couple of different variables to it, but basically the lower the land class, the higher value. Basically the first 100,000 tiles sold in a country will be the class 1 stuff. And then subsequently every 100,000 after that will up the class. The lower the class, the more money you make, the more resources you get, the more valuable the land's going to be reselling. If you're buying some Dubai land, I would hold on to it because it's going to be worth more in the future for sure. And especially if you're able to get some class 1 or class 2 in Dubai, I'm never going to sell that. So I'm going to be watching the ticker count down. I assure you, I don't care what time of day it is. I'm going to be watching it count down. I'm going to be buying up a bunch of Dubai, a bunch of the UAE. Don't forget, Abu Dhabi is another world famous location in Dubai. So those are the 2 hot spots. And when I look at this sucker on the heat map come Monday, I think Dubai, the UAE, is going to be glowing red hot. And I think that's going to take away a lot of the attention from the rest of the globe. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, I'm just speculating. So far, my speculations have been right, including when Dubai would be released. And the next speculation that I remember I've made, and again, this is based off nothing other than some hunches and some little things that I've seen mentioned. But I also think phase 2 will be coming in March. I think Dubai has been, we've been anticipating that for a while. I think they had to set some stuff up to get into Dubai, to get into phase 2 in order to not only get the land back from the people who got it through shady means, but also to secure the accounts through the 2-factor authentication, also getting money out of the account. They've done some updates on that, and I've got some more videos coming to go into the announcement specifically. But I'm going to bounce off. We're coming up on 20 minutes. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, make sure you're entering the referral raffle and the land giveaway raffle, one and the same through the link below. Subscribe, alerts, rock on, invest safe. And I look forward to catching you guys on my next live stream or video post, helping you navigate this magical, majestic, marvelous, mysterious world of Earth 2.